Hello, and welcome to Conscious Cool Chic Radio. My name is Molly McCord, and I'm delighted you are here today. ConsciousCoolChic.com is a convergence zone of wisdom for anyone interested in expanding their consciousness. I am a consciousness catalyst playing the roles of astrologer, author, intuitive, messenger, and teacher. With insights from spiritual guidance, I share with you consciousness-raising information that benefits and inspires our journeys as human beings. Essentially, that means I take spiritual information and make it practical, understandable, and fun to incorporate in the real world. The first half of the show covers topics related to consciousness and spirituality, and the second half of the show is focused on astrology. We will look at the main astrological energies happening right now, and I invite you to grab your astrological chart to see which areas of your life are being highlighted at this time. And as always, free ebooks, workshops, and inspiring information can be found on the website, ConsciousCoolChic.com. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's show. It is a gorgeous July day. The energy feels so vibrant and strong and pure. I woke up this morning really excited to do this show. This is Molly McCord. I am your hostess. I write and compile everything that you see on ConsciousCoolChic.com. That is my website where I share energy updates, astrology, divine messages, inspiring messages, all kinds of things. It's expanded beyond what I originally thought it could be, and it's expanded into this radio show. So I'm delighted that you are here. It's been really fun to see all the listeners from all over the world benefiting from this information, and to see that the shows have been downloaded through iTunes and listened to many, many times on Blog Talk Radio. Thank you very much. I'm glad that this information is beneficial and is helping you in your life and on your journey. Today's show is a really big topic, and I'm delighted to talk about it. It's called Insights About Soulmates, Twin Flames, and Kindred Spirits. And I have unintentionally become a pseudo-expert on this area. I never thought I would be an expert on relationships because there are so many people out there who really specialize in it. They're known for their powerhouse speaking and books and all of these products that they offer. And yet I feel that I have so much to share with you that is divinely guided messages as well as an integrated human perspective. I think this is really powerful because relationships are so important to us. They define us on so many levels, from when we are born into our family of origins to how we grow among our peer groups, to the one-on-one relationships we form with romantic partners, to our colleagues and bosses and associates in our professional lives, to children and extended family relations. Everything about being human involves relationships. In our last show, I mentioned how Spirit informed me that relationships were created specifically for our experience, that on a soul level, when we're not in human form, we have enough. We are enough. We are everything. And relationships aren't needed in the same way that they are here. And so we've developed and created unlimited possibilities for relationships. And we've done that so that we can grow, so that we can experience contrast of personalities and experiences and emotions. We've done that to be better at our gifts. We've done it to be able to return back to peace, to love, and to joy, regardless of what relationships we're dealing with and what lessons we're learning. We always have the capacity to be in love with ourselves and to be in love with our experience, regardless of what our human relationships might be undergoing at this time. And so today's topic is highly relevant because relationships are coming up as a big area for many, many people. I'm going to talk about soulmates, twin flames and kindred spirits, talk about what they are energetically, how they are different, and their purposes. And then in the second half of the show, I'm going to look at the astrological viewpoint of what we're going through right now with relationships. If you do not know anything about astrology, I think you're still going to get a lot of good information from that part of the show. You do not need your chart or anything. You don't need to even know what the lingo is. I'm just going to explain it in a way that hopefully will put more of the pieces together for you. And I'm also going to share some of the timeline and some of the dates when energies might be felt more intensely. So I'd like to get started by sharing with you these three different categories. I'm going to say categories of relationships. People are listening to the show from all types of backgrounds and are arriving here with different understandings. So I want to be able to communicate with you some base level information to get us all on the same page. There's a lot of information about soulmates. Everything from the idyllic, romantic versions in movies and in entertainment to some other harsher interpretations that have circled in recent years. And the soulmates is something that we have trained ourselves to believe as another person who completes us. That could be a truth for you if you choose to believe that. However, the higher perspective is that when we first began experiencing ourselves as humans on here, we came in with groups. There are groups of energies that we needed in order to fulfill our experiences. And these characters, we'll call them, these characters are our soulmates. They are people that we have had most likely numerous incarnations with over and over again. And we hold the same themes with them, the same healing themes. So those themes could be betrayal, abandonment, certain areas of growth. It could be power struggles. The themes are unlimited. The idea is that this is a group of beings that we intentionally chose to work with, to experience and grow together. And so those do involve romantic relationships and partnerships, but they also involve family, they involve neighbors, they involve your boss, your assistant, anyone in your life that you feel some connection with is potentially an original member of your soul group that you've had numerous incarnations with and that would be identifiable as a soulmate. Because they are your mate in this theme. They are helping you to see the theme, the lesson, in a new way, to grow from it. And what you will notice about soulmates is that the energy is based very strongly in emotion. There is typically a lot of emotional energy there because it's related to karma. And through the eons and eons of time, the circles of karma have been spinning so that you play one role for a soulmate, and then the next time around they play another role for you. You reverse roles, you change it around, you get a different perspective, a different experience of the same theme. So with our soulmates, we have been generating a lot of emotional energy because there hasn't been the consciousness or the awareness with where to direct the emotional ties. It's like it just keeps circling around without understanding how to find the exit or how to upgrade the energy to a higher expression. But that is the time on Earth that we are living in right now, which is incredibly exciting, that we have the tools, the ability, and the resources to lift ourselves above the emotional fray and experience the beauty and perfection of soulmate relationships that have had so many cycles with emotional, I want to say turmoil, because these are the relationships that will trigger you the most. Could go right to anger with somebody. You could feel a deep sadness and grief over the ending of these relationships. You can also feel an immense amount of love and incredible joy. It's the energy that has unspoken commonalities between the two of you. It's where you feel like you just know somebody and you want to be with them, you want to relate to them. Depending on your theme with these people, it could be somewhere along the scale of, extreme fear to extreme love. That's how broad the spectrum is of soulmates. So when we see soulmate relationships described on television and in movies, we have this idea that, I found my soulmate and life is going to be happily ever after and I'm complete and everything's going to be top-notch from here on out. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, I've had my own cycles with soulmates that have revolved around the same themes. And these relationships have been very intense for me. They have triggered the deepest amount of emotions in me. When I was in it, I couldn't see it properly, if you know what I mean. I was in it, and I couldn't be an objective observer because there was so much happening underneath the relationship, which I attributed to lifetimes of experiences underneath the relationship, and I wasn't able to understand the broader themes when I was in it. I needed to have somebody else tell me what the themes were and tell me what was happening because I was so engrossed in these soulmate relationships. They trigger in us the greatest healing opportunities. Soulmate relationships are an amazing gift because it is with these people that we can see ourselves, that what is triggered is an opportunity to understand where more love and healing can be directed. This is why soulmate relationships are so intense for us, is because there's so much there, and it runs so deep. I have realized that with my soulmates, I became really exhausted. These are relationships that had me spinning in situations, that had me spinning in emotions. I would feel everything from incredible love for them and appreciation and joy, all the way to what I would interpret as deep resentment and anger and frustration. And all of that is because they triggered in me these lifetimes of energies that were ready to be elevated and healed. We can only heal what we see. We can only heal what is revealed. So when soulmates are in our world, there is this dichotomy between deep wounds and deep healing. There are so many gifts from this perspective. There are so many ways we can benefit from these relationships when we can be the observer and step out of the emotions. When I was in my deepest soulmate relationships, it was not rational. As an outside observer, you might have thought, well, Molly, the situation here seems really clear to me. You need to break up or let this go or move forward. And I could not do it. It was as if I had this unconscious desire to relate to this person continually. It was very hard to let it go. And yet letting it go was exactly what I needed to do, and I had to do that on my own timeline, because my soulmate relationships were about elevating these emotions that were within me and understanding them from a different perspective. The soulmates that you come across, you will recognize energetically. You will connect with them energetically. It will not be simply a mental or rational understanding of the person. It will be this feeling of, I know you. And when we are at that place, we have a lot of power right now. We have a lot of power to decide what is in our highest and best good for me, for my growth, and for my experience right now. Soulmate relationships are powerful and seductive and enticing because we have so much energetic history with them. But I have learned from my own journey that first of all, I feel like I have a huge soul group. I think that maybe half the world population is my soul group sometimes, because I run into so many people that are familiar just in all areas of my life. And I think, how big is this soul group? I mean, it seems like it's unending. But because I know what my own themes have been with soulmates, I also have made choices that have been in my best and highest good. And often that is to disconnect and to understand that every person has their own free will, as do I, and that the soulmate themes that I have accumulated and experienced time and time again are consciously completing for me. I'm going to move into twin flames next because that's heavily related to this. And I want to recognize that many people are going through these soulmate completions right now, and I understand that it's not roses and easy, and it's not simple because there's so much tied up into it. But I do want to let you know that wherever you are on this journey, and if this topic of soulmates is really resonating with you, that most likely you are here to complete some form of healing with them, and that your responsibility is to yourself. I remember having a breakup that was so devastating because I thought that my life was going to unfold in a certain direction, and so the ending of that relationship felt like the ending of my life on some levels. It was that deep. It was so intense. It was this feeling of, well, I don't know where to go next, because I thought I was going to be with this group. I thought it was going to be connected to these people. And when that ended, I felt very lost, because we're creating a new experience after the completion of soulmate relationships. And I had this vision of being in a bubble, this beautiful white bubble with people, and I was walking out of that bubble into this brand new white space. There was completely void and empty. There was no one else there. And I kept turning back because I saw all these people that I chose to walk away from. And on some levels, it was exciting for me because I felt my soul's growth. I felt the power of choosing what was best for me. And I also felt sadness. I worked through that sadness. I got past it. I did a lot of intentional healing and energy work with it so that it wouldn't stay in my energetic aura. It wouldn't stay in my body. But I want to recognize that this might be an experience that resonates with you, because this is happening on so many levels for us right now. This is happening in very big ways, and it's a new experience. And I want you to know that it can be a very liberating and empowering experience. I think that is a really important message, because love is never lost. Love is never lost. It just changes form. And our connections to people are never completely gone, because when they're in our lives on some level, we have a love for them that is unspoken and perhaps even unexpressed. So if you can find a way to cut cords and move forward from your soulmates, if that's in your best interest, if that's something you need to do, please know that the other side of that has a lot of amazing rewards, I want to say, and new connections that fit you better. Twin flames. Twin flames is an energy that is very related to the energy of soulmates, but it's a little different. When you first originated on Earth, you came in with a balancing energy. Here we have the duality between fear and love, war and peace, male and female. In order to experience Earth energy in its best and highest way, we arrived with a twin, with a partner who would balance us in order to help balance the energy here. And the twin energy signature is typically of the opposite gender. It's similar to soulmates, where you have same themes that you're playing out together and that you would rotate roles. So it could be being romantic partners. It could also be, in some lifetimes, being a mother and a child, or being two coworkers, or just that same energetic signature that you're working with in another person, because they balance you. However, with this person, you have the same karma, the same core wounds, and the same life lessons. This is a person that you would intuitively understand and recognize on a very deep level. It could be the person that you're in a crowded room and you know them, as in you've met them, they're in your life, but you are just constantly drawn to them. You want to stand next to them at a party. You want to pick up the phone and know that you can always explain yourself to them and they'll just get it. The twin flame energy is very, very powerful, and it's because you've had these numerous life experiences similar to soulmates that you're trying to balance and work out. Twin flames have parallel growth paths. You'll have the same path, and that's not necessarily in just this lifetime. That could be across all your lifetimes. So there could be a huge chunk of unconscious commonalities there. But your paths have been parallel. And for many twin flames, there is an agreement in place, a soul agreement, that you will come together at this time on the planet and you'll grow beyond your core wounds, meaning you both are at a place where you recognize what your wounds are, what the healing is that's required, and that you want to move beyond them now. You know, you've been going through these themes and these healing lessons for eons, potentially, and now is the time when you're both committed to ending the karmic cycle and to begin a new paradigm of energy together. It's incredibly powerful. I like to think of it as when you are connected with your twin flame, there is a celebration that is possible when you're both on the same page and you're ready to complete these cycles of lessons and themes and to move beyond them. This, again, is one of the relationships where there is an energetic recognition of the other person beyond anything your mental, rational, or intellectual capacities will understand. It's a heart connection on a very deep level. And I've had this experience. I've had a connection with my twin flame, who was a male in this lifetime, and I did not know it was him for years. And finally, things, I'd say, burst through and connections were made, and I understood that that's what this connection was. It was like I wasn't ready yet to know the deeper meaning behind our connection and what was happening. We very much had parallel paths, a lot of similarities. There was a lot going on in our relationship that was below the surface. I remember times when I would be near him and I would experience past life events seemingly out of nowhere. I remember many things, like I would be getting these flashbacks. And this was before I had an expanded awareness about my own experiences, meaning I didn't know even that they were past life remembrances at that time. But when I was with him, those would be triggered on a very deep level. And it brought up all these emotions in me, and it brought up a lot of stuff that was ready to be healed because it came up to the light for my attention. And he had the same core wounds, the same themes and lessons that were also open for healing should he choose that. And as it happened for me, it turns out that he was not ready to heal with me. And we did not continue our relationship. And there was no common path that we would be walking along together. Oftentimes with twin flames, you could be living your lives at two different speeds. And I'm a fast one. I'm someone who goes for it. I like movement. I want to keep things going forward. And he is not. And he never has been. And I appreciated that in him. But when the rubber hit the road, it takes courage to see yourself and what you need to do at this time in order to heal. And my interpretation was that on many levels he wasn't ready for that, and that his free will, I had to honor his free will. I had to respect that. I had to let that be. I can tell you that it was devastating, that when I had these insights and this information, I could see the bigger picture. I could see where this was going. I felt the celebratory energy around the relationship because, as I said, the twin flames connection is so deep, and there's such a profound level of knowingness that we are connected to someone. Even when they make their choices, we still feel that deep love for them. And so he chose not to move forward with me. And what is ironic is that it triggers the core wounds again. When the twin flame, who has your same wounds, does not want to connect with you, it triggers the wounds again because they're not, there's something that's looking for completion. And this is where we step in and we complete it for ourselves, where we take control of our own path and our own healing needs and get it done for ourselves. And that was a huge lesson for me because I knew, too, that there was numerous times in previous lives when he wasn't able to move forward with me, and that was one of the lessons, was this, the theme of abandonment and rejection was something I had experienced with him before. And so here I was back again experiencing that, and yet the opportunity was that I knew what the theme was. I got it. So I could really hone in on what needed my attention and move past it in a way that would heal myself and heal that wound for me. With twin flames, we can think that so much is riding on them because for lifetimes it has been. We've had that connection, and we want that connection. But at the end of the day, your spiritual responsibility is yourself, regardless of what they choose, regardless of what direction they go, whether they hold your hand and walk forward with you or if they make another decision that is better for them at this time. Your spiritual responsibility is still yourself. You still drive your own car. Regardless if there's passengers or not, you still drive your own car, and you are in control of you. So my own experience then with the twin flames was that he was not, like I said, he was not ready. It triggered the same core wounds in me again, which brought them up for healing on my terms and on my level. And it reinforced my commitment to my path and to my own growth. And that is a gift, too. That is a gift from these relationships. So the gifts aren't simply that we find and connect with someone and we live our life with them. That's one way the path can unfold, but there's numerous ways that we can experience gifts with our soulmates and our twin flames. I know that many people, I've heard from clients, are finding their twin flames right now, and that because the energy is so fast, it will get right to the heart. You will know right away that there are similar wounds there, and on some level you'll know right away if they're willing to do their own work to get past it. It's an exciting connection. And then we move past twin flames into relationships that are called kindred spirits. As I stated at the top of the show, I have unintentionally become an expert on this area because I've had all of these relationships. Like I said, I think that my soul group is half the planet. So I've had experience with the soulmates, with twin flames, and with kindred spirits. Now, with soulmates and twin flames, we know that there's karmic connections there. There's deep emotional connections. There's lifetimes upon lifetimes of experiences. There's tons of unconscious energy that drives soulmates and twin flames. But as we go into kindred spirits, this is a different energetic signature, and kindred spirits have no karmic connections. It's based in heart energy. And it could be that you have had lifetimes with your kindred spirits, but they were most likely lifetimes that didn't involve emotional turmoil. These were times when you had a very peaceful, simple, loving existence with another person, sort of a vacation lifetime, if you will, where you got a break of some sort and you weren't here to learn a lot of lessons. You were probably here to balance out lifetimes where you had a lot of lessons. And so kindred spirits do not have those deep emotional wounds. They are probably, there's a variety of ways this can unfold. They are people who have already done their healing work as well, and they are on the other side of it. There's no deep emotional wounds that they need to heal with you. They've completed it on their own. Or they came in without that need, meaning they came in without those karmic wounds to focus on this time around, and they're here for other reasons. There's other scenarios that could be involved in kindred spirits, but those are the two prime ones. And so meeting up with our kindred spirits is a heart connection. There's a soul level recognition that this person is familiar, that you know them, but there isn't the need to heal together like with the twin flame. So I have found that this is where we find our kindred spirits when we have energetically cleared ourselves of karmic patterns. Now, we never stop learning. There is no finish line. There is no end zone. We're always learning and we're mastering ourselves. Kindred spirits support that. It's like they support that without you needing to do it for them, if that makes sense. You are given space and room to continually learn and grow without feeling a responsibility to heal someone else in the same way. It's sort of like we're both our own strong core entity, and we recognize that we're individuals who can take care of ourselves. We've completed our deepest healing wounds, and now we're here to enjoy and live from a place of new peace. I think of it as peace because when we've cleared out a lot of the emotional gunk that's resided in us, we do find deeper levels of peace within. And one of the images that came to mind as I was compiling this and downloading some of these messages from my team was the movie Love Actually. Have you seen that? It's probably, I want to say 2013 2003, 2005, I can't remember. But it's a film that came out around Christmas time. It's based in London, and it has a huge cast of characters with different themes and different storylines happening throughout the movie. So you'll see these two people working on a relationship, these two people working on a relationship, and it floats between these different storylines. And I think of Kindred Spirits when I see the scene where you are arriving at the airport in the terminal and you're being warmly and lovingly greeted by a loved one. And that arrival, that cheerful arrival at the airport terminal, hugging, celebrating, and loving another person on arrival. I love that scene because at a soul level, I think of our kindred spirits and even our spirit guides and our angels and all of the beings who are with us. They're just here to celebrate us. And I think of the airport as this amazing, safe place where we are connected and loved after a journey, a long journey potentially. So that movie Love Actually really brings up the idea of kindred spirits for me because there's a lot of these feelings of connection and happiness. So I shared with you that I've had soulmate relationships and I had to leave them. I shared with you that I had twin flame relationship that ended, and I'm very delighted to share with you that now I have a kindred spirit relationship. And I'm going to toot my own horn here and tell you it's because I did my own work. And it's the same for every person. When you continue to do your own work, your own healing work, you are rewarded. The universe still celebrates you. You can make any choice in the world and you are loved by the universe. I believe that 100%. I know that 100%. And it's reassuring to know that after going through a variety of relationship experiences, there are still connections to be made. There is still someone to share your life with. There are still partners out there for you. The soulmates and twin flames can take you to your deepest, darkest places. You can absolutely go there. But when you keep walking through it and you get to the other side, there are people who are so excited for your arrival. When I met my kindred spirit, we talked about how he just felt like he knew me, and he felt very familiar to me. And we were actually at a dinner party, and we had just met, and we were sitting next to each other at the party, and people thought we had been together for years. And no, we just met 30 minutes ago, but that was how drawn to each other we were. And I can tell you that I was not looking to date. I was not putting myself out there. I was still really, on some levels, exhausted from the ending of the twin flame relationship. I didn't have the desire to date formally, and yet I was affirming to myself that I'm ready for the next relationship that is in my best and highest good. And I requested that from the universe. I absolutely requested that, and I required it, and I said I want this, da-da-da-da, that's my list, da-da-da. And I kept affirming that that's what I wanted, and I got it. I 100% got it. He came out of nowhere for me. I had this visual of him dropping down into my life, and that's exactly what happened. So please know that we can meet and match up with people in unlimited ways, and that it's beyond. It can feel like we have to do something about it, but if you're willing to trust and really have faith, you will be amazed and surprised at how the universe celebrates you and loves you and will bring you exactly the right person to be your partner. As I've looked back on my relationships, I have so much love for every person, every single person, starting with my first boyfriend at 16. I see how these relationships were amazing growing opportunities for me, and there's just so much love there on a soul level. As I've described this relationship, these different types of relationships and their energetic signatures, I want to make it clear, too, that none of these relationships are better than another. They just have different opportunities and gifts. They each are offering us something that helps us grow and heal depending on where you are. Also, soulmates will keep coming into your world. They'll keep coming around. When you have completed healing paradigms and core wounds, energetically, your soulmates will recognize that in you, and they will come to you for that healing. They'll be attracted to you to learn and heal for themselves because you are showing them a new way to open up their energy. You're showing them how they can expand and heal. And this is what makes you the leader of your soul group, is that you are recognizing how to take the healing and the themes to the next level. So understand that soulmates will come back around. They will want to connect with you at your new vibration, but you have to give very clear boundaries, meaning don't take on anyone else's healing work. Each person needs to do their own work and has the power to do their own work. When we try and do someone else's healing, we are inadvertently taking away their own power. They cannot latch on to you to get their own healing, although that might be your experience. It might be that a soulmate shows up in your world and they feel like an energy vampire, and it's because they want the healing that you've completed. So one thing to keep in mind is that maybe what you can give are resources, books, websites for them to check out. Just be very clear within yourself about what you can do and what you can't do because, again, your healing is your responsibility just as their healing is their responsibility. So honoring that in ourselves and in another is very powerful. It's very powerful. And it honors their free will. It honors them as a soul. I'm looking at the time, and this has gone over, which I'm not surprised about at all, because there's so much to say about this topic. I love it. I love it. And I hope that you're finding some good information from it. I hope it's been soothing and that it's provided a broader understanding of what's going on. As I said, soulmate stuff can be very seductive and emotionally deep. I'm going to take a quick little breather here and grab a drink. And then I'm going to look at the astrology because I think you're going to find it really fascinating to look at how the astrology is working with these relationships right now.